this final topic. And let's talk about Oliver Stark, who's from 911. So he's released a statement because apparently people felt that that his comment that he gave, I guess, in a recent interview, screamed a bit of biphobia. So I was like, let me pull this picture up of him, and now we could talk about the story. So after his comment sparked backlash amongst fans, he apologized for hurting anyone and said he hopes to continue, excuse me, my neck is killing me, Buck's story in a way that feels representative. So in the latest episode, and I'm probably going to give a little spoiler, whatever, of Murphy's 911, Ryan Murphy, I should say, Buck and fellow firefighter Tommy, played by Lou Ferrigno Jr., apparently they've broken up after celebrating their 6-month anniversary. Their breakup was initiated by Tommy after Buck asked him to move in with him, saying that he was ready to take the next step. Now, Tommy refused, responding with, "No matter how bad I want it to be, I'm not your last, I'm your first. If I were to move in with you, you wouldn't mean to. You wouldn't plan for it, but you'd end up breaking my heart." Now, Buck's bisexuality, as you know, was confirmed last season when, all of a sudden, these things were coming out. Over the years, first of all, we always sensed that there was a little something, something with Buck, but we more or less felt it, not with Buck, but with him and Eddie. And I do feel like sooner or later, he and Eddie is going to end up punching and hooking up because that chemistry is there. But we did see that, okay, so it was, people wanted Eddie and Buck to kind of get together. But what the whole situation was, they felt that, let Buck sow his oats and explore with this guy. And some people felt like it was sudden, but I'm like, y'all were not paying attention because it seems like the only time when something is put in your face and you see two men kiss and then y'all want to react. But it's like if you actually was paying attention to the show, the implications were there. So, last season he did kiss Tommy on the mouth, and then he came out to his sister, played by Jennifer Love Hewitt. He came out to the 118, which is the fire department that he works for, and the fans were excited about it. There, of course, you had your homophobes that jumped in and started saying a bunch of stuff, but that's to be expected. But he also opened up about the breakup in an interview with TV Line, explaining that it happened because Tommy is trying to protect himself. And it's because he's been there and done that in regards to the whole relationship situation. And what he was saying was that Buck is relatively new to exploring his sexuality. So I don't feel like you want to do this whole lesbian, situation where it's like what they say lesbians bring to a second date, a U-Haul, where it's like, the first thing when you get in a relationship with somebody, the first thing you want to do is, okay, let's move in together. Let's get married. Let's start a family, all that other stuff. But Tommy felt that Buck needed to get his palms a little dirty. He needs to go out there and sow his oats before he's ready to settle down. And I feel like that's what I got from this. But of course, people jumped in and said he was being biphobic. And I'm going to tell you what he said to where all of a sudden everybody got their panties in a bunch. So he basically was what he said about his character's future, saying that he wants Buck to explore his sexuality further now that he's single. He said, "I text showrunner Tim Minear and I just write hashtag let Buck fuck because I do think he should go out and have some fun. I think he deserves it. He should figure some things out and see what he likes." Unfortunately, they said that his comments were not received well by some fans who commented that bisexual people do not sleep around and have multiple partners to know what they want or call the view disappointing. I was like, here y'all go with this identity politics shit. And this is exactly why Trump won the goddamn election, because y'all get into this nitpicking shit when it comes to having conversations about, well, that's not how bisexuals really think. We don't all just go out and be promiscuous. That's not what he said. Maybe he interpreted it a wrong way, or because y'all want to sit and nitpick. And I know y'all be ready to pounce when it comes to certain things people say. People say one little thing and y'all go off. It irritates me when people do that. It's like, fucking relax. Sometimes we want to cuss people out with the dumb shit. But then it's just like, I do feel like at his point, he is, especially like, okay, me being a homosexual. Let's talk about that. So when I was finally coming to terms with my sexual orientation and going out and exploring my oats, and, I took the time to go through my whole phase to explore different aspects of who I am before I came to the conclusion of like, okay, I'm ready to settle down, or I'm ready to be in a relationship, or I can be with this person for the rest of my life. But I've come also the realization that I like my own company. That every now and again, my friends and all these other people give me what I need out of, they fulfill me in so many ways. My friends, family, those sort of thing. But when it comes to like sex, okay, I can have it and move on. You're not the end all be all of my existence. And my whole world's not gonna be wrapped up in a relationship. And that's fine too. But what is wrong with him saying, I guess maybe because it was a little harsh in him saying let buck fuck. First of all, when he said that, that is funny. And he's British. So, they're very much like unfiltered, direct and to the point. So it's like, yeah, let him go and have relationships with other guys. Let him date around and see what he's into. We've already seen Buck on the show before he was even known to be bisexual, being a playboy with a lot of different women. We've seen that side of him already. So why not have him explore relationships with other men, to go out on dates with other guys and see like, okay, so I'm dating around with other people. And then we see Eddie getting jealous in some sort of way. And then that kind of pulls them two together. And then maybe he'll run into Tommy at another time. So, 911 is not only, it's an action series, which focuses on the paramedics and the police and all that other stuff, but it's also, the 911 dispatchers, but it's also a show about, it's a soap opera. So to me, it's just, okay, relax. See, this is and that's why I said it irritates me when y'all get into this whole space of like, well, any little thing y'all say or somebody says, y'all want to get sensitive. So yeah, he did say in an Instagram story, he basically said, I received a number of comments like this regarding my enthusiasm for Buck to embrace being free and single to go out and enjoy myself now that they messed up. I said now that he has been broken up with, but they said now that says sometimes I got to get it and correct things. He said I would recommend the same thing if he was coming out as a straight relationship. I don't think safe and consensual sex with single is a bad thing. We've seen Buck in the early seasons use sex and dating in an unhealthy way. If ever the story was to have him go this route, I would hope to show how those things can be conducted from a much healthier place. He added that the above points mean nothing beyond my intention. So you know what? I couldn't have said it better myself. I love that what he said. It's like, yeah, why y'all looking at sex and promiscuity as a bad thing? It's not. To me, when you have sex with someone and multiple partners over the years, you're learning about your body. You learn your boundaries. You learn what it is you like and don't like about, someone or something when it comes to being in the bedroom. So y'all looking at it as, oh yeah, there they go with this stereotype. And it's like, a stereotype. Well, I would, because I'm smart. And a lot of y'all just react with emotions rather than logic. So I can tell basically what he meant by it. And I'm glad, I knew that was the first time I actually read his thing. So I got it. I understood it. And I'm glad he didn't apologize. But like he said, yeah, that you know, he's saying that now that he's single, he should be allowed to enjoy himself. And that is true. When he was in heterosexual relationships, when he would get with women, it was unhealthy the way that he was getting into relationships with these women. It was at an unhealthy standpoint. It wasn't necessarily a good thing when he was with a lot of these women. But now that when he was with a guy, it's just like, he's learning like the better parts of himself and not getting caught up in those crazy traps. And it would be great to see him explore his sexuality with men. And I'm looking forward to it. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Do you think it's much ado about nothing? That everybody's overreacting per usual? So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below.